Hi everybody. Today I'm going to show you the Cohler Classical menu system. Cohler Classical is built on top of Reaper, but we have redesigned the entire menu system so that it is optimized for doing multi-take, multi-track, track group editing. So we start with the File menu. Here we have the basic project loading commands, but down here under Media, there's several special commands. Load audio files loads multi-track takes and groups them all in a single command. Then under the Consolidate, Render, Export menu, there's a couple of important new commands. Consolidate does a multi-track track group consolidation. The render stuff is standard Reaper commands. The Export QWave CDT is a special new command we added, which gives you a Redbook standard CDT, CD text file and Q file that you can then be loaded into applications like Sonorous to generate an immediate DDP in one click. Then we also have this command, delete items and files, which allows you to delete items from the timeline and simultaneously all the associated files with that multi-track take. So in one click, you can delete a large number of files. It, of course, warns you several times because it's a very powerful tool. Down here under Show Paths, we show you the current primary and secondary recording paths with one click, the media load path, the Reaper resource directory, and the scripts directory. These are all available so you can know immediately where things are. You don't have to wonder about anything. Now, the rest of the menus are organized according to functionality. So all of the editing commands are under the Edit menu, where they should be. And the first thing you come to under the Edit menu is Source Destination, which is the heart of the matter. So these are the commands that you're going to be using 90% of the time. This is your basic source destination, edit, and crossfade. Then edit crossfade and immediately zoom into fade edit mode on the first of the two fades. And this is to do a source destination, edit crossfade, and rate change the destination so that it stays at the exact same sample count that it was at before. Then you have here your delete commands, deleting with or without crossfade, with or without ripple, closing gaps between takes, with or without fades, copying, pasting. It's worth noting that a source destination edit is equivalent to executing this copy command, C, followed by this paste command, V. And you can actually cut and paste from anywhere to anywhere. You can go from a source to a source, from a destination to a source, from a destination to a destination. Doesn't matter, but it takes two steps. If you use the source destination command, it's one step and it's only from a source to a destination. Then your paste commands, your split commands, and then all the commands for editing crossfade. Mostly in edit crossfade mode, you're editing by clicking and dragging things. But this is how you can get there. Edit the fade near the mouse under the cursor, toggle the dial window, exit the fade, and back up a little, toggle your fade linkage and shape. And these are the navigation commands you can use while inside fade mode, and the audition commands inside fade mode. Then we have some noise edits, some fade in, fade out, the all-important gain, rate, and pitch change, all of which ripple all audio, all edits, all markers, and all automation points. And then basic project preferences, project settings, import, export configuration, and your undo commands. So we go to the View menu next. All of the view commands you need, whether it's zooming, vertical, horizontal, waveform, cursor, previous, next, they're all right here at the top of the View menu, followed by the various windows that you need to open at different times, the action list being the most important one, the mixer the next most important, and very occasionally the track manager. Usually you don't have to open the track manager. And then there's other things of lesser importance here. Under the markers menu, all the commands you need for doing markers. First, set markers, delete markers, move marker to cursor, save and load markers, and the DDP marker for doing your final PQ code edits and export of a CD master. All under the marker menu. Okay. Then your play record menu. That has all the play and record commands, all located in one menu. Playback, you have play stop, play pause, play from last play, play from last stop. Your speed, normal, half, and quarter speed. Toggle the playback scroll on the screen, clear your peak meters. Then for recording, you arm an entire group, you record the group. It's that simple. There's also a take window, which opens automatically when you arm, and you can toggle that open and closed or hide it with the escape. You can update the take number, etc. And then down here, your audition commands. Play between the in and out point, destination, source, current group. Play to or around the in point, from the in point, to or around the out point, and from the out point. And then these are the audition commands inside Fade Edit. We come over to the track menu. That's a standard track menu, but it's been optimized. Options. The Reaper settings are here on a side menu. Most of the time you don't need to access these. Then the Cohler classical settings are all here. This first one, general settings, is an important one. That has the most important general settings in Cohler classical. Number of tracks you want to see in the window, the first group height factor, pre-roll, post-roll for auditions, the small track height, a search mask, media directory, and some other important things. The default fade zoom here being 0.1 means when you go into fade zoom mode, the fade will occupy 1/10 of the screen width. You can change that. Default cursor zoom will put 15 seconds on the screen. The default big zoom or large zoom will put 500 milliseconds on the screen, etc., etc. So there are various settings here all together in the general settings. And then after that, you have the load path for loading media. Colors, this is where you can change the default colors of the groups. You can reset the track heights. You can save or reset to various defaults. This is a good command for restarting Reaper. And then here are the commands for setting up your project. When you do initial setup, you create tracks, you set mixer layout, and you create source groups. Occasionally, then after that, you may need to copy mixer setting to sources or copy track layout to sources. This is a command for setting or getting wave metadata, and you can put that automatically, insert that into files when they're recorded. And then these are special settings for various other features. Your licensing is all here. Install, uninstall the license in one click. View the license, buy a license here, and the license agreement. And this checks for an update to the software. If there is one, it offers to automatically update the software in one click. It also does that check every time you restart Reaper. Then there's some special settings down here, which basically you don't have to touch 99% of the time, and a few tools here, again, that you don't need 99% of the time. Under navigation, you have commands for navigating to next, previous group, next group, previous group, to the destination, to the sources, all 9 sources, scrolling left, right, up, down, going to markers of all kinds, going to edit points of all kinds, going to crossfades, to time selection points or envelope points. So that's all your navigation commands in one menu. And then in there is also included selection, selecting items in a group, all items in a time selection, unselecting, and your show hide toggles. You can show and hide the media tracks, the folder tracks, and the automation tracks. And this is for navigating between project tabs with tab or shift tab. Everything is intuitive and all in one place. And then under your automation menu, you have all the commands needed for doing detailed balancing on multi-track recordings. So adding envelopes, deleting envelopes, adding points, adding 1 or 4 at a time, deleting them, moving them on all tracks, etc. So there you have it. All the menus in Reaper have been redesigned in Cohler Classical to be optimized for multi-take, multi-track track group editing. We also optimized the toolbar buttons here. So basically all you have is this first button, which controls whether or not it horizontally scrolls during playback. So if I'm playing and I have that on, the screen scrolls. If I turn that off, the screen stops scrolling. Turn it on, it scrolls. Then you have undo, redo, grid lines, snap to grid, the record arm button, and this is the button that links and unlinks fade linkage. So if you're editing an asymmetric fade and you want to pull the in fade and out fade apart, you unclick this. That allows you to do that. That's it. The entire menu system for Cohler Classical. Everything is just one click away.